and welcome back to the channel. Today we are talking about wealth building habits that either hinder or help you on your wealth creation journey. Now, we all love the idea of being wealthy and also the dream. Some people, it's a dream, but for some people it is a very tangible one at that. But there are certain things that you are doing today, every month, that is literally stopping you from reaching your wealth goals. Some of us, which we are trying, and I want to be part of them, are doing the exact same thing over and over, and that is what's helping us. And I say us because I'm speaking live. I'm not perfect, but in us. There are certain things and certain habits that we are doing and getting right that is helping us on our wealth creation journey. And I want to share both sides because I do think small little tweaks can make the biggest difference in your wealth creation journey. So let's get straight into it. Get your pens, get your papers. We are about to write some notes. I will try and keep it as short as possible, but as punchy and informative as possible so that you leave here knowing exactly what to do and what not to do, especially on the daily basis when it comes to Inyugu. Otherwise, if you do enjoy this video, you know what to do. Give it a massive thumbs up. Comment down below and let me know, what are these habits that you are doing? Is it helpful or is it hindering you on your wealth creation journey? And of course, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Love you guys so much. Let's get into it. Hey there, it's Yolz channel. I watched a podcast the other day and somebody said, when you are born, you look like your parents, and when you die, you look like your decisions. I was like, But the same applies for the life that you live, right? We are born here without a choice. We find ourselves here, but we are living literally the consequences of the decisions that we made, whether yesterday, whether a year ago, whether 5 years ago. It is really all about what we do on a daily basis. You know how people can look organized in front of you, and then you go to their home and you're like, there is nothing that's organized about this person. I think of finances in the same way that you want order in your life. We should have order as well and control when it comes to our money, purely because we are in touch with money every single day. Literally, when you turn on Netflix, that's money. It's a 199 rand subscription every single month. When you get into your car, that's petrol, that's money. We interact with money every single day. So it does make sense, because we interact with it every single day, that we know exactly where it's going and how it is growing. Similar to seed. If you're going to put seed into the ground, you want it to bear fruit, and the right kind of fruit, right? So the whole thing about building habits is so that you have control. We talk about getting into the front seat of your life and driving it. Where are we going? Every time we get into a car or a taxi, there's direction. In the same breath, we want our habits to be leading us to a point where we can see that we are building something and that we have in it with a kulmayo. It doesn't have to be in the millions, but it does have to have order if we are saying we want to take control of our finances and our wealth creation journey. It has to make sense. So make it make sense for yourself by literally making clear decisions about how you want your tomorrow to look like. And today we want to talk about the habits that are built behind those decisions, because you make a decision first, you build habits after, and that becomes a lifestyle. We don't realize it as well. It actually helps wire the mindset. Money mindset is so important, and most of the time we don't even know that we've built a money mindset that's either negative or positive to our bank balance and our wealth creation journey. So we're going to go straight into the habits that we should have and the ones we do unfortunately already have that either hurt or help us on this journey. Starting off month end. My question to you is, what do you do come end of the month every month? Do you look at your monthly bank statement and do you make a clear decision on what goes where? Where your mind goes and where your money goes, that's where your money either grows or disappears completely. Some of us don't even want to decide on the bill. We just get there and we say, the bill is the bill. Can we split it? Regardless of what the bill is, did you plan for it? Is this building or helping you? Is this actually hurting you at the end of the day? And is this part of your wealth journey? Now, I'm not all about like the whole don't buy coffee, don't do this. But I am a big believer on the clear habits that you set, because they do determine where you go when it comes to your net asset value and where now yourself, your net worth. So we're going to start off on that payday, honey. The best advice that I would give, and by the way, this is not financial advice. It does not constitute as financial advice. If you need financial advice, get a qualified financial advisor. And yes, my voice just changed just to make sure that disclaimer TNC is there. At the end of every single month, have a look at your situation. Regardless of how bad, how beautiful it is, have a look at it. Being self-aware is important. And I do think that looking at your statement is part of self-awareness. Yes, we don't want to admit it. No, your bank balance is not a reflection of you. It's a reflection of your decisions. And thank goodness, every new month means that we can make new decisions. This is the time to say, hey, I've got a goal. I want to save. I want to invest. I want to grow my money. Because you can be a high earner and not be wealthy. I've seen it. I've worked in the bank where 10 days after payday, people are borrowing money simply because their payday routine is, let's pop bottles today. It doesn't matter how far we run the bill. Let's pop bottles because it's month end. Have a look at your statement and see if it matches where you want to go. Because where your money goes, again, it should grow, but not everyone gets their money to grow. So month end, decide on what you are doing. If you are a saver or not, start at 10%, 20%, 30% when it comes to saving. And save before you spend. I used to hate hearing that because why? Debit orders go off before. For control. There's a lot of things we cannot control in our lives. And let me tell you, if you're on a wealth creation journey, you will realize that the wealthiest of people on earth have control. In fact, they watch the cents and the pennies of their money. That's how much control they have. Purely because they've built the habit of understanding Uguti. Money doesn't control them, they control money. In fact, the wealth conversation goes further than just money alone. But at the end of the month, we all know Uguti. It's either we are strangled by the thought of these debit orders that are going to go off, or we feel and find freedom in understanding that we have full control of what is happening in our bank accounts. So my encouragement to you is come end of the month, don't let end of the month happen to you. Yo, how many of us get there and it's like chiki, guati. No, babes, you can take control. And one of the easiest ways to do so is by simply setting a budget. We all hate it, but it does happen at the end of the day. Money does go out. So would you rather not know what is actually going on before it happens? Set clear intentions. What do I want to happen this month? How much do I want to spend this month? And actually have control of the money that I want to grow. One of the small little habits that I have, and you guys have seen it on my journey, I may be a mature and seasoned investor. You know, I've been doing this for some time now, but guess what? I still save in small amounts and in big amounts as well, because I've learned this how old was I? Oh my gosh. I probably started saving in my preteens probably in my preteens. There was a time I sold sweets in primary school, right? And I realized, Uguti, when we have to go to the cash and carry, I have to have money left. So from the profits, I take for myself, and I had to actually save so that the next time we go to cash and carry, it was called Welcome Store Cash and Carry in Pumalang, a White River. I actually have something there to stock up again. And those are small little habits that even today, no matter how much I make, I always make sure to keep a little bit. Talking about those small little habits, you guys have also seen me go onto this new app called Franc, new to me. Franc has actually been around for 8 years, but it's new to me and I've been investing and saving with them for the past month. I also owe you an update, which I'll do a quick one here. But one of the things that I actually did and consciously did was start saving again. And that's purely, again, to show the beginner person who's either a friend, a sister, a viewer, whoever you are, that you can actually keep the small little habits that you used to do back then. And that's purely, once again, to speak to discipline and habit. It is habit for me to save, and I would highly encourage you to do the same. So while we are on that, let me actually have a look at where we are on Franc, because I do owe you I think I'm late by a week. I do owe you an update on where we are on that. We opened a wealth account as well as a savings account. Oh my gosh! Okay, I'm very, very happy about this. So we had deposited 500 Rand initially, and we earned 0.62% of interest in the first month. So that is 3 Rand and 11 cents. Now it's been a month and 3 days, I think it says. If you are a beginner, just start. This is 500 Rand and I've earned 3 Rand. To me, that is amazing news. I am due to deposit another 500 Rand into the savings account because my saving goal is 2,000 Rand by September. So I need to actually deposit my 500 Rand, and I actually made it manual here. You do have a choice of making it a debit order, but I chose a manual option. So I need to deposit that this month for the month of June. So originally on the Ellen Gray Money Market account, I deposited 1,000 Rand. However, I am on the Pro account currently, and that is 49 Rand a month, which is why we were down to 951 Rand. Literally, I think a few days after I made that deposit. However, we did make 6 Rand in interest. Now, with the money market account, your interest reflects after a full month. It's not like your Satrix fund where you see, your interest tracked almost every single day. There's changes. And also, because we are playing in the smaller amounts arena, I do think it makes sense for me to actually try the starter account instead of the Pro account. The Pro account is made for a more seasoned investor. And obviously, if you're depositing more amounts and you want more options, more savings goals, as well as funds to invest in, including the Bitcoin account, then the Pro account would make sense. But because we're playing in the smaller amount, I think it makes sense for all of us to just be on the starter account so that we're all on a level playing field, and because we are depositing smaller amounts. I always keep saying, it's not about how much you make, but how much you keep. And that is so important when it comes to budget setting, putting an intention behind what it is that you are doing. Because we can set the budget as well, but what's the point if it's not going to help you on your wealth creation journey, right? And then the most important thing, which is you to your higher self. Keep the promises you made to yourself. Show up for yourself. We're always expecting people to show up for us, for them to actually keep the promises they made to us. What about the promises you made to yourself? I want to leave this year debt-free. How much is that figure? You actually have to go back to that bank statement and have a look. And you cannot be sitting down budgeting without having a look at your situation. Again, it's like self-awareness. Have a look and don't judge yourself. It's not a reflection of you. It's just a simple reflection of the decisions you made, but those can also change. And this is your chance to take control and show up for yourself and actually keep the promises you made to you. Now, it is all fun and games to talk in theory about budgeting and making promises to yourself and keeping those promises. The reality is, tomorrow you get a raise, you move out from your parents' house and you're looking for a place because you got a raise or you got a promotion. Lifestyle inflation is a real thing. And lifestyle inflation creeps up on us in such a way that we don't even see it. It dribbles us into a point where whatever we earned, that extra percentage that we now have, we don't even see come end of the month. We are now living like for like the same way that we did when we earned a lower salary, which is actually unbelievable, but it's almost natural. And I'm talking even as an influencer myself. I don't want to say we try to keep up with other people, but we do. Consumerism. I want that new foundation because Dior just launched it and it looks so great on influencer Mang Mang's face, right? Or I want that aesthetic. I want to change my whole house now. We all want the beige couch. We all want the beige TV unit. Yeah. And it makes sense because it sounds like a need, right? Jiggy, a year passes and you are either worse off or at the exact same position that you were 2-3 years ago when you were working as an intern living at home. That's lifestyle inflation. You're still at the same point. Yes, you might have a nicer apartment, but it adds absolutely nothing to your wealth creation journey. What does it do to your personal bottom line? When we look at businesses, we're like, is it profitable or not? Are you as an individual actually building something that's going to be profitable when you look back 12 months from now and say, actually, the decisions I made when I did move out was very conscious and wise. I was in control. Not because I wanted to keep up with anyone else, not because I wanted to live closer to work in the most expensive apartment, but because I actually made a wise decision. I looked at apartments, I compared, and I also made a decision. I want my disposable income to be X. And at the end of the month, I want to save and invest X money for my future self. Once again, the promises are absolutely useless if we are living a life where we're still trying to keep up. I'm not going to tell you to not live because we need to live and enjoy our money. However, the reality is it is very hard to move backwards in lifestyle, especially when issues arise. How do you move from having a car to going back to a taxi? It is very difficult, but what you can control today is living below your means. It's simply looking at what you have and saying, I don't need to live in absolute abundance in order to actually live in life and make it. I don't need my lifestyle to reflect my position at work. Very tough one, because we want people to know, we see the car I drive must reflect my the exact. Yeah, one. But there's actually no need for that, because what we want is our money to grow. We don't want it to literally get into a sinkhole and find itself where 5 years you look back at your journey, either in corporate or as an entrepreneur, and you're like, there's nothing that I've built for myself. Forget the kids that you may have and the legacies that you said you want to build, but you look back and you're like, there's literally absolutely nothing that I've built. The other thing is attaching your value. Now, I've already said, Uguti, we attach our value to why we don't look at our statements, because it's embarrassing or we'll feel shame. And I've clarified the fact that it's only a reflection of your decisions, which can change. It's not a reflection of your identity. In the same breath, don't attach yourself and your worth to the things that you have and the money that you have in the bank. Tomorrow it can go. What I always say is the one thing that brings me back is gratitude, understanding that the one who gave me the things that I have, he has the ability to take it. In fact, be able to have your hands open so that you can receive one, but also you can give back. Yabona. Somebody also said a major wealth habit that people don't speak about is the ability to give. Have a generous heart in this thing where we are giving, but make sure you've put it down in the budget. We don't also give willy-nilly. Actually have the ability to give so that you don't attach yourself to the materialistic things that you have. It actually creates space and separation and understanding who's controlling you and who's controlling who when it comes to your relationship with money, because money can easily control us. Suddenly you are driven by the thoughts of having. But when you are able to release these things, you're releasing yourself from the chains of the world. It's the love of money. That's the root of all evil. It's not the money, but it's the love of it. So now that you need to separate yourself from that. The reason why people build strict habits like saving every single month, for instance, is purely to know, Uguti, that is creating discipline for yourself, but also the detachment from the fact that you have in abundance. And just because you have in abundance, everything can go to waste. It doesn't matter where the money goes, the money can just go. But when you create these routines and these boundaries within your life, you are also putting yourself and your flesh in a position to understand, Uguti, there can be a separation between myself and my money, and discipline, so that when there is much, you are understanding, Uguti, like 10% can still go away. I'm not bound to that 10%. Greed and gluttony come from a place of scarcity, to be fair. A mindset of pride too, Uguti, I have, so let me spend. A place of izophela if I do not. Separate that and actually build habits that allow you, Uguti, I can always put away nomang nayo, nomang ena 10,000, nomang ena 1,000, so that when you do have a choice moving backwards in lifestyle, you can actually be like, you know what, I'm fine with that for now. Slingshot, I'm taking 3 steps back in order for my lifestyle to propel me and my decisions to propel me further than where I was 2 years ago, 3 years ago, and it's okay. And it's not always about money too. Invest in things that are actually meaningful. This also means your health, right? You may not have the money today, but when we think about our wealth journey, health is such a huge part, because there is no showing up Yolanda waking up, sitting and speaking in front of the camera if she's not healthy. Best believe, my one brain always says, you can have a million problems until you have a health problem. Then you only have one problem. And that's the one thing sometimes we attach money to. It is free to go onto your carpet at home. You don't even need to have a carpet, and just jive. One thing about South Africans, you just need to go on TikTok to find the routine. You don't have to go very far. Data you already have, you're already spending on. Literally invest in your health. If it's a walk that you need every single day, if it's mental load that you are carrying, lift that load by simply going out, smelling the roses and walking. Invest in your health, because that too actually helps you on your wealth building journey. The other thing is investing in yourself. You may not have a job today, but that doesn't stop you from actually watching fruitful conversations online that can help you on your wealth creation journey, that can help you on your mindset. Watch podcasts. If you are somebody who wants to know about businesses and ideas that you have in whatever industry that you're in, watch podcasts that are speaking to that. Stop consuming information that is baseless and absolute nonsense. Now I know we all scroll. We all have a shorter attention span, but don't get lost in that source if it is not helping you on your wealth creation journey. Somebody also said your explore page says a lot about what it is you actually consume. Can I ask you, the things you consume, is it helpful? Or is it actually hindering you on your wealth creation journey? The things that we consume, we become after a while. So what is it that you are consuming every single day? Because at the end of the day, that is a form of investment to yourself. If it's not aiding, girl, it is taking away from you. Or guys, somebody says, stop saying just girls, Yolz. There are men in the room, okay? Hey guys, shout out to y'all. But you need to really think about these small habits, daily habits. Every time there is nothing else to do, what is it that you are consuming, and is it helping you? Now, we don't always have to be productive all the time. In fact, rest is also productive. Rest is one of the ways of just switching off, not over consuming anything, whether in product, whether in viewing things. Just switch off. Let your mind rest. Pray, meditate. All those things are actually helping you. The other thing, speaking about this, is the richest man who ever walked on earth, King Solomon. All he asked for was wisdom, and he became the wealthiest of the wealthiest in the world. So even in your decision making, whether it's about your lifestyle, about your health, about your money, make sure to ask for wisdom, so that in everything there's intention and there's wisdom in the decisions that you are making. And it's so easy to do so, but we don't realize that those habits end up building a mindset in our minds that either have us living senselessly. Every day you're just going to work for the purposes of working and not actually living. Go meet your higher self and meet her in her niceness and in her wealthness, but in a way that you have control and you have full sight of what is going on. So bank account, print out that statement, have a look at it. Don't feel the shame. It's not a reflection of you, honey. It's just a reflection of the decisions that you're making. And today, you can change them. So start today and then change those habits day in and day out. Not just on the money side, but on the health side, on the education side. Man, now it was tanned. It was patega. Somebody said it was patega man. When you decide about this part of my life, I don't look at. But it's there. So let's have a look at that mess. Let's fix it up and let's make it worth our while. Life is so worth living for, and every part of your life deserves to prosper. Prosper in all of your ways. Solomon prospered, right? That's it, in every single thing. A bit too much on the wives and the concubines. However, he prospered. Now I want to prosper, not in the husbands. One is fine. One is enough. However, I say to you, if you want to prosper in every part of your life, start today with your habits and actually have a good look at it, make the decisions, and tomorrow you'll be living in the consequences of them anyway. Good or bad. That's life, Sana. All the best with your wealth creation journey. Let me know, what habits are me and you doing in the comments? Is it hindering you, or is it actually helping you in growing your wealth? And of course, that bank balance. I want us all to flourish. I don't want to be alone in these things. And it takes those small decisions to make the biggest difference. And I hope this was super helpful. I love you guys so much. This is how much I love you. I'll give it all to you. Love you guys so much. And of course, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. It's absolutely free. Bye.